Hi everyone, I'm Satomi from Japan Bread Baking Class. Today I'm going to show you how to make whole wheat walnut shokupan. A soft and fluffy loaf with the rich aroma of whole wheat and the nutty crunch of toasted walnut. Whole wheat flour is not only flavorful, it's packed with nutrients too, making this bread a healthy and tasty choice. Let's get started. Before mixing, we need to prepare the wet ingredients at the right temperature. Our goal is to keep the final dough temperature between 26 and 28 degrees. Why is this important? Because this temperature range helps the yeast work efficiently. It also helps us better estimate how long proofing will take. In cooler month, like when my kitchen is around 20 degrees, I warm the wet ingredients to around 38 degrees. In summer, when the room temperature is around 28 degrees, I use cold liquid, about 5 degrees or lower. Adjust according to your kitchen, so your dough behaves consistently. Next, I'm going to prepare the walnuts. If you're using raw walnuts, roast them at 170 degrees for 4 to 5 minutes until they turn slightly golden brown. This helps enhance their aroma. Then, finely chop them and set them aside to cool completely before mixing them into the dough. Now that everything is ready, let's start mixing. Add your dry ingredients to the bowl of a stand mixer. Bread flour, whole wheat flour, sugar, salt, and instant dry yeast. It's better to use bread flour with 12 to 13% protein content to make fluffy shokupan. Give them a quick stir. This step helps the all dry ingredients absorb moisture evenly. Then, pour in the water and milk. I like to mix gently by hand first because this helps get things started. Without it, the stand mixer takes longer to fully mix the ingredients. Attach the dough hook and set the bowl on the stand mixer. Start on low speed and once there are no dry spots, switch to medium and knead for about 10 minutes. I'm using a KitchenAid stand mixer. I usually start on speed 2 and then switch to speed 4. In the beginning, it's normal for the dough to stick to the bottom of the bowl. That's just because the gluten hasn't formed yet. Also, if you add walnuts, they tend to absorb some of the moisture, so don't add extra flour too soon. The dough might end up too firm once the gluten fully develops, and you'll get a heavy texture. After 10 minutes, the dough comes together and it becomes stretchy. Now, add the softened butter. Butter is added at this stage to avoid interfering with gluten development. We want to build a strong gluten network first. That's the key to fluffy shokupan. Continue kneading for another about 15 minutes on medium speed until the dough is smooth and elastic. Now that it's been 15 minutes, let's do the window pane test to see if the gluten has developed properly. Take a small piece of dough and gently stretch it between your fingers. If it becomes thin and translucent without tearing, it's ready. If not, knead for a few more minutes. Put the dough back into the bowl and add the chopped walnuts. Then knead on a low speed for a few minutes until they are evenly distributed in the dough. Before we move on to the first rise, let's build a bit more structure using the slam and fold method. Take the dough out of the bowl and lift it gently from one side. Then slam it down onto your work surface and fold it over itself. Repeat this motion about 20 to 30 times. This helps strengthen the gluten and smooth out the dough. Now check the dough temperature. 26 to 28 degrees is ideal. If the dough temperature is lower, proofing will take longer. If it's higher, the dough will rise more quickly, so always watch the dough carefully during proofing. After shaping the dough into a tight ball, place it in a bowl, cover with a damp towel and let it rise in a warm place until it doubles in size. The dough has expanded. My dough was at 27 degrees and it took about 50 minutes in a 35 degrees blooper. I'm going to do the finger test to check if the dough has fully proofed. Dust the top with flour and gently poke it. If the dent remains and you see bubbles forming on the surface, the dough is ready. If the dent springs back, let it proof a bit longer. Apply some flour on the surface and gently press the dough to release the gas. Then transfer it onto your work surface with the smooth top side facing up. From here on, make sure the top surface stays on the outside during shaping. This will give the billet a clean, smooth finish after baking. Now, divide the dough into 2 equal portions. When you cut the dough, shape the dough into an oval first, then cut it in half. This will help create a square shape and make it easier to shape into balls later with the surface on the outside. To shape into balls, flip the dough over with the bottom side up. Fold it in half. Then place it with the seam side up and fold again. Repeat one more time. Place the dough seam side down and gently pull it towards you using both hands. As you do this, make sure the sides of the dough tuck under itself so the surface becomes tight and smooth. Cover the dough with a damp towel and let it rest for 15 to 20 minutes. This resting time allows the gluten to relax, making the next shaping step much easier. Before using a loaf pan, make sure to grease it with spray oil or butter to prevent the bread from sticking. After resting, gently poke the dough with your finger. If it slowly springs back and a dent remains slightly, it's ready to shape. Place the dough seam side down and lightly flour the surface if the dough is sticky. Then flatten it with your palm. Roll it out with a rolling pin. Turn the dough over and make sure it has a nice rectangular shape. Fold the top and bottom edges toward the center so they slightly overlap. Lightly dust the work surface and the dough with flour. Rotate the dough 90 degrees and roll it again from the center outwards to increase the length. At this point, the dough should be just a bit narrower than the pan. Lift the dough off the work surface once, then roll it up from the top, tightening slightly to build surface tension. If it's rolled too tight, the dough may tear during final proofing. Pinch the edge and place the dough into your greased loaf pan seam side down. Make sure the spiral end faces outward and leave a bit of space in between so the two rolls can rise evenly. Lightly spread the dough with water, then cover it with a plastic wrap or shower cap. Let it rise in a warm place around 30 degrees until it reaches just above the rim of the pan. About 30 minutes before baking, preheat your oven to 210 degrees. Once the dough has risen, gently poke the side. If the dent comes back slowly but doesn't disappear, it's ready to bake. If the dough springs back completely and no indentation remains, let it proof a little longer. Lightly spray the dough with water again, then bake at 190 degrees for 20 minutes. After that, lower the temperature to 180 degrees and bake for another 10 minutes. If the top burns too quickly, cover it with aluminum foil when lowering the temperature. Once baked, gently tap the pan on the counter to release steam. Remove the bread and let it cool completely on a warrior rack. After it cools down, slice it with a bread knife and enjoy the warm, nutty aroma. This bread tastes great on its own, but I personally love it toasted with some cream cheese on top. Thank you for watching. I hope you try this whole wheat walnut shokupan at home. It's nutritious, flavorful, and perfect for breakfast or light snack. If you enjoyed this video, check out my other recipes for more Japanese-style breads. See you next time, and happy baking!